Fitin10 Nation, welcome to day 57, and we are going to get right into some more tips for better sleep. So last day we mentioned a couple, well, we actually mentioned four things that will aid in sleep. I'm just gonna quickly recap those. So here we go. Have a set bedtime routine. Okay, so get yourself relaxed before you go to bed. Get yourself to wind down a couple hours before going to bed. Go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. Number 3, exercise earlier in the day. Number 4, limit caffeine intake. And Martine, you want to read number 5?
Yeah, avoid nicotine and alcohol.
Yes, absolutely. Especially, nicotine I wasn't really aware of, to be honest with you, but I guess it's a stimulant. Nicotine's a stimulant, right? Yeah. And alcohol, of course, as we know, disrupts your sleep.
Yeah. Even though a lot of people still believe that it helps because it helps them fall asleep, but it subsequently disturbs their sleep. So and you better know that, because if you stop drinking alcohol, you notice that you sleep remarkably better.
Yeah, you're gonna notice better recovery.
So limit exposure to bright light at night. So yeah.
Oh, this is number. Are we going number 6?
Okay, just number 6. That the atmosphere has to be set for that, right? I personally really like a cold room. I like darkness. I have how do you call this, blind curtain, whatever. Anyway,
you got blackout curtains.
Blackout, that's correct.
Yeah, you got blackout curtains.
Blackout curtains. My room is very cool. My bed is very comfortable. It makes a difference, like the environment that you put yourself into, right?
Speaking of which, keep your phone out of your room.
100%.
Yeah,
in general, all electronics.
Yeah, all electronics. And I think I mentioned last day about exposing yourself to red light and staying away from blue light.
Absolutely. Yep.
Number 7, go to bed in a quiet room. I mean, this is kind of, I guess,
it makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Or like really, myself, plug your ears.
yeah, because you're a pretty sensitive sleeper.
And then take naps. That's one that I have very close to my heart, because I've been napping throughout my life, I suppose, right? And I have short nights. I go to bed around 11. I wake up at 5. I don't recommend that to anyone, but I then have always been a napper, and coming from Africa, that's something that we culturally always do, and that according to studies is actually very, very good for you, right? Of course, we're not talking an hour and a half, 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the day, but even a 20-minute nap.
Siesta.
Yes.
A siesta. Yeah.
I mean, in French, it's sieste.
Oh, you did jump to number 8.
Okay,
jump number 8. Okay, one thing I just want to say about number 7, because you jumped to number 8, is you can use white noise too.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Like
instead of earplugs.
I love that.
To help you fall asleep and just to sort of drown out everything else. Okay. I used to have, when I was a kid, we had we had fish and we had turtles, and we had, so that the tank had this.
Oh, real ones.
Yeah, real ones. Okay. Yeah. And the tank had, I don't know what
like a pump.
I don't know. I can't remember anything about it, to be honest with you. But I guess it would have been a pump.
Yeah.
And it mmade this pretty loud, but it was just a consistent noise. And I slept so well with that thing. So. But
now they even have apps, even though you're not supposed to have your phone.
Right. Yeah.
All right. What's next?
All right. Let's move along here to. So those are 8 things you can do for your sleep, and there's probably more.
Yeah. We'll think about it.
How to strengthen lower back and maintain or develop a lot of flexibility. What else can I do to work those muscle groups?
Okay, so there is a huge difference between strengthening your lower back and maintaining flexibility. So maybe we can just separate the two.
Yeah.
So for the lower back, I think you just need to strength train, right? Which this person is already doing. And then you're the one who reminded me that it will take quite a while to strengthen the back, as you need to connect to all those like core muscles that are in charge. You need to connect with your glutes. So a lot of the exercises that we do in classes that you can do all by yourself as well are very helpful. And we're talking about movements like good mornings. We're talking about deadlifting, with the dumbbells that we do. Everything where you have what we call a forward fold will require, strength in the lower back, where you're talking about on the floor, Superman and Superwomen, for example. And you reminded me also that twists will help with the health, and then lateral flexion movements. So there's like a handful of movements that you could be practicing, but I think that essentially getting stronger overall through classes or going to the gym is going to make a huge difference in your back over time.
Yeah, so not just the lower back, but strengthening the sides of the torso, the musculature on the side of the torso, and the musculature in the front.
And the bum.
And the bum.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, the bum, of course. Yeah. So really when we're thinking about lower back, we're thinking about everything that's sort of surrounding it.
Yeah.
Right? So your entire torso and
Your glutes.
Your glutes.
Yeah. And then as for flexibility, there's a lot of people that think that, stretching is helpful. And then to a certain extent it is, but it's only on the spot. So I like to always remind you that your muscles, at least when they're youthful and functioning properly, they're almost like an elastic band, right? So when you pull it, it just goes back to where, essentially that's how it works, where it's the concept of elasticity. So you're stretching it, that's great, and then within a couple of hours, you're back in the same spot. And for people like yourself and myself who are doing yoga, for example, we know this because, I do yoga on Monday, and when I come back on Wednesday, I feel like, nothing happened on Monday, but I feel really good doing it. So we do yoga for other reasons. But one of the best ways to increase the length of the actual muscle is under load. So, there's a lot of studies there of, I'm kind of sad to say this, but about frogs, who had like weight on their legs, and that ended up with like, longer muscles overall. But think about it. And for example, to open up the chest, like a loaded chest press is actually one of the best things that you can do, or even push-ups. So when it comes to your hamstrings or your glutes, if you want to get more length, then you deadlift or you do things that lengthen the muscle under load.
One great way to improve your flexibility is to do full range of motion on exercises.
Absolutely.
Quite often, people will get tight if they aren't going through full range of motion.
I agree.
So it's a bit of a myth to assume that weightlifting is going to make you tight.
Tighter.
It will.
Absolutely.
It will not make you tighter if you're training through full range of motion.
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. So next question here: does coconut oil burn fat? So we hear about this sometimes. People put it in their coffee, or they do like a bullet coffee. It's not always coconut oil. It can be
MCT
I think some people,
oil.
MCT oil.
Yeah.
Well, coconut's an MCT, but so
That pure MCT oil bill. Yeah.
the only reason your metabolism speeds up when you eat is because you're going through digestion. So, and digestion requires
Energy.
It can't not require energy. There's got to be some energy that goes. Your body's got to do work to break down the food, but that work is a small percentage, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Protein's obviously going to take a little bit more because that's got higher energy cost. But it's never, that cost is always just going to be a fraction of the total calories you took in. So you're not going to burn more calories by taking in this case, coconut oil. So if you take coconut oil in your coffee in the morning, you're going to have to digest that coconut oil. And it's an MCT, and MCT has, as I'm sure you're probably aware, it has a little higher thermic cost than other fats.
Mm-hmm.
But you still are going to have to deal with all the other calories that came from that fat.
Absolutely.
Right?
And
So
you're gonna have to burn those too.
And you got to burn those. Whatever you choose to eat, you've got to deal with those calories.
Absolutely.
But of course, that doesn't mean less food is better, right? So again, there's this happy medium with both things. All right, let's get to the message of the day here. And
taking care of yourself is an essential part of taking care of others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, this is, I had somebody this was actually one of the very first challenges I had run when this happened. I had somebody in the challenge that quit because they felt so guilty about the amount of energy they were putting into themselves. And they felt guilty. Their partner wasn't doing it, and they felt guilty for the amount of self-attention they were giving themselves. So
understandable, but what did we just say?
I don't know if it's really understandable.
I feel like if you take better care of yourself, you can only be better to the people around you. Mm-hmm. That's the way I see it. The
100%.
stronger you are, the better,
100%.
or you're a better human, you're a better person, you have more energy for others, you have more of everything. If you don't take good care of yourself, then you're just half of the person you can be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ultimately it's like, there's layers, right? So the very first layer is yourself. You've got to get this working, and you got to be happy with this, and then you can be more effective and
helpful
perhaps,
to others.
Efficient at helping others.
Absolutely.
And then, you can help others, and then those people can help others, and it just sort of goes from there. Yeah. But if you're neglecting yourself, you can't, that's it. Like, There's
What's
nowhere
next?
to go.
Absolutely.
So you definitely should not feel guilty about putting in a chunk of your energy, a chunk of your time, totally towards yourself in order to make yourself feel better, make yourself feel happy. If that's
Well, I mean, that's what we talk.
Yeah.
Now we have a word for it, right? It's called self-care.
self-care. You gotta self-care. You've got to invest in self-care.
Indeed.
Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude, and we will talk to you in a couple days.